Good morning. This is going to be part 2 of this oven. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. I've been trying to think of a plan, and I think it really is just going to come down to balancing another couple of flat stones there, and I need to get them thick. See this? That's probably about as thick as I can have it. Any thicker, I don't think that'll work. So I'm going to hunt for some more stones. I'll have to go further up that stream. And if it isn't working, I'm going to have to redesign it. One way or another, I'm getting an oven today, right? I hope. Right. Instant problem is that these rocks are all fused together. They're frozen together, and I cannot pull that apart. Right, we'll leave that just now. We'll come back to that once I've figured out how to solve that. Right, I'm just hunting for some ideal rocks for that slab. I'm not having much luck. There's enough flat ones, but none of them are big enough. So I'm just going to keep walking up here and see what I can find. Found a little bottle wedged in there that I'm going to try and get out. Oh man, that is really wedged into. That's another milk bottle, pasteurised milk, SCWS. Interesting. Right, that's promising. That's the right thickness, I think. And it's a good size. If I could get one the same thickness and just a bit bigger, I think we're alright. What I'm worried about is when this heats up. I know folks said they'll explode. I've never seen that in my life ever. What I've seen happen is they just crack, they fissure and split and peel away from each other. That's what I'm hoping doesn't happen, because the whole oven will collapse if that happens. But there's only one way to find out. Right, fantastic. I think I've found something that looks good. That's a good size, that's a good thickness. I think that's exactly what we're after. Yeah, right, I'm going to carry this back and see how it fits for size. Oh, if I can. That works perfectly. So, there's the inside there. The cooking surface. Little gap at the back for the oxygen to get funneled up and a bit of the heat. And now I'm going to just build up and around it to make the roof. I'm 99% sure this is going to crumble when it gets hot. But we'll try it anyway, see how it goes. I need to make a decision. Is that enough cooking room? I mean, it's enough room for a pizza certainly, but is that going to be too hot? And I certainly won't be able to make bread in there. I might have to build it slightly bigger. I'll plug those gaps at the end, I think. Right, I need to think about this. I don't think that's big enough. That's tricky. I should have really researched this a bit better before I started it. Right, I've decided I'm going to leave it as it is with that room there. And if it gets too hot and stuff just burns, it should be easy enough to fix, because this is the top layer. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it's going to be easy to play about with. So yeah, I'll stick with this just now, finish it off, and once we actually get cooking in it, I'm sure all the problems will become clear. So I need another couple of slabs and then I'll plug the gaps up. And I might light a fire in there just to see how it goes. Right, building this last bit, the roof, is the hardest bit by far. I'm going to have to plug these gaps with stones and possibly clay. I'm not sure about the clay because unless I keep it covered, it'll just get washed away. Unless maybe I can start a fire in there and harden it up, I'm not sure. But this is really, it's not as nice as I was hoping for. Basically, I wanted to just lay it. It's a mess. It's a balancing act and it's a mess. But there's the bottom. There's the top. And it's not. I wanted it out to about here. I think too much heat's going to get out of there. But I'll plug the gaps, see if I can get another rock to cover this bit somehow. And then I'm going to light a fire in there and see what happens. If the whole thing comes tumbling down, we'll just forget about this little project. Right. Sorry, I'm just trying to film this so that you can actually see it. The sun is right at the angle coming down here, so you can't see. Anyway, you get the idea. There it is there. See all the gaps? They need to be covered up somehow. It looks like a bit of a mess, but I'm going to light a fire in here and just see what happens, just see how it goes. I haven't plugged any of the gaps up yet. That'll... aye. Let's see what happens. Right. Starting a fire in here, and I was just thinking to myself how funny it would be if the heat from this test fire just made the whole thing collapse before I even get a chance to try and use it. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Right, I'm gonna have a fire in here for half an hour and see what happens. I had to light it quite close to the entrance. The plan is to push it back once it's established. Right, we're doing okay so far. I haven't pushed it back yet, and I want to do that because I want to see if enough air gets in there to keep the fire going. Everything is absolutely soaked, obviously, so it's a bit tricky. I think it's going out again. I don't think there is enough. I don't think there is enough air in there. Or it's the wood's too wet. It could just be bad luck. I didn't spend much time looking for decent wood. Anyway, this is part 2, so part 3, I'll plug the gaps and bake a pizza. That is heating up. Oh well. Aye, I think this wood's just a little bit too wet. But I was thinking I can actually store firewood under there when I'm not using it. Maybe dry it out a bit. Anyway. The fire went out because the wood's pathetically wet. Everything's wet, everything. Your DNA is wet. It gets ingrained into everything. Anyway, I'll not complain. That's the end of part 2. Next time, which today's Friday, I think it'll be Saturday, tomorrow or Sunday, I'll come back up here, plug all the gaps, just tidy it up a bit, and then I'm going to bake a pizza. So I'm going to prepare the dough and somehow carry it up here in the shape of a pizza. Not sure how I'll do that, but I'll manage. And we'll try it out, see what happens. This is... See, that is warm. And that's only had a pathetic little fire under it. for 5 minutes, so that's a good sign. Oh, that's really nice and warm. Right, good. My only issue is, will that fire get enough oxygen? I'm not sure, but we'll see. There's how it looks for the back. Honestly, if somebody comes across this, it just looks like we're in prehistoric times. But anyway, there's a lot of gaps that need plugged up somehow, either stones, possibly clay, or sod, or whatever that stuff's called. Not bad. It doesn't look as nice and neat and squared off as I was hoping for, but that really doesn't matter, does it? It does not matter, so nothing else to say, I'm afraid. Let's see how we get on Sunday. Cook a pizza.